Hello, I'm Sarah Coates. Thanks for joining me here on the news desk. Let's begin in Jerusalem, where riot police have been deployed with clashes erupting between officers and demonstrators, with Saturday protests underway once again outside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's residence on Balfour Street, ongoing now for more than 6 months. Now, demonstrators are being seen lighting fires on the street and chanting as people continue to call on Netanyahu to stand down over the criminal trials he's facing, along with the government's handling of the coronavirus pandemic. Now, just last week, the Knesset voted to dissolve, triggering elections set for March, which will see Israelis go to the polls for the 4th time in just 2 years. Now, this is Israel is less than 24 hours out from a third nationwide lockdown as coronavirus cases continue to surge. Now, all of this comes as dozens of cases of a new strain of the virus have been discovered, which first surfaced in the UK. Now, Israel began rolling out its vaccine campaign a week ago, with the elderly and at-risk patients the first to roll up their sleeves, while top health officials are saying that the country should be somewhere close to back to normal by the end of February. Now, Israel's lockdown comes as the virus continues to wreak havoc around the globe, with alarming new figures and stats emerging. Russia crossing the 3 million case mark as the country has just approved the Sputnik vaccine for those over the age of 60. Now, Germany will also begin its vaccination campaign on Sunday as cases there spike, with more than 14,000 fresh infections discovered in the last 24 hours. Now, France has also recorded its first cases of the mutant strain of COVID, while the head of the European Union has this to say about the rollout of a vaccine.
We are starting to turn the page on a difficult year. Today is delivery day, and tomorrow vaccination against COVID-19 is beginning across the European Union. We have to continue being careful. We need to protect ourselves and our loved ones from the virus. Let's stay safe together.
Tensions between Israel and Iran are growing, with an unnamed Iranian general telling Al Jazeera that Tehran's response to any attack on national security will be strong and wide. This after a spokesperson from the IDF told the Saudi-run Arabian Elaf news outlet that Israeli submarines are everywhere and that Israel is tracking Iran's movements in the region. Now, last week, an Israeli sub reportedly crossed the Suez Canal after being given the go-ahead by Egypt, with many saying the move was supposed to be a show of force directed at Iran. Well, Nashville is now under curfew in the wake of a terrifying explosion on Friday, which is being investigated by the FBI. Now, residents woke to this sound coming from an old motorhome in the street. The truck then blew up, sending debris flying through the air, injuring a number of people. There are now fears that others may be unaccounted for, with investigators looking at whether human remains are at the scene of the blast.
They received calls for shots fired. I had no idea what they were responding to. Once they arrived in the area, they heard an RV giving out a message, basically saying that it was going to detonate within a certain time frame, and a countdown would go on, and then it would play music, and then the countdown would start again. The officers immediately began knocking on doors and evacuating residents here, not knowing if the bomb was going to detonate immediately or if it was going to go off in the time that it was stated.
And finally, we've all been told since we were kids that cats have 9 lives, and this story I'm about to bring you shows that this may be in fact true. Workers at a Russian waste plant were just going about their normal work routine, sorting recycling on a conveyor belt, when one of the guys noticed a funny-looking plastic bag. Well, he then grabbed it, cut it open, and found this black and white kitty inside. The man who found the cat says the animal was on the brink of death, but is now in safe hands, with a nationwide contest launched to name him. And that is all we have time for this edition of i24 News. I'm Sarah Coates. Thanks for watching.